Kicks it out. Toppin. Good contest from Dort. Halliburton falls down. He looks hurt. Here comes SGA the other way. Inside, and Williams throws it down. Halliburton's hurt right away when he fell.
On June 22nd, 2025, the Oklahoma City Thunder hosted the Indiana Pacers for Game 7 of the NBA Finals, the first Game 7 since the legendary Cavs and Warriors thriller. A hardwood classic was bound to unfold. Historically, these finals Game 7s have been tight, with winners having an average margin of victory of just under 7 points. We had two young, hungry teams having historical playoff runs, looking to leave their marks on history, all with this one final game. Of course, all that hype and aura was killed the moment Pacers star Tyrese Halliburton blew his Achilles. Congratulations to the Thunder, but there still lingers the fact that we were all robbed from a potentially legendary finish to the season. However, this was not the only time a major injury altered the course of the season. In the 2025 season alone, we've seen again and again and again these players end their season in heartbreaking fashion, and most of those injuries carry on to the seasons after it too. 7. That's the amount of times a player has torn their Achilles in the 2025 season. An anomaly? Yeah, but it's still an indicator that we are losing our players more often than before. One would say that injuries are a part of the game, but what fan would enjoy watching a game at the highest level being played without its stars? Over a long period of time, there has been a clear upward trend suggesting that the league's best players are getting hurt more consistently. Starting with the 1980s, star players missed an average of 10.4 games per season. In the 90s, stars missed about 10.6 games per season. In the 2000s, the average rose up to about 13.9 games. Then in the 2010s, it continued to climb up to about 17.5 games. Now, in the 2020s, this trend has increased dramatically, with our stars missing an average of 23.9 games per season in the first half of the decade. In the 2023-24 season alone, the total cash paid by teams to players who could not play due to injury was approximately $898 million. This is a direct measure of the sheer volume of missed time. For the 24-25 season, the total cash amount is projected to be approximately $945 million. And this recent playoffs was not the only one hindered with missing its star players. In the previous 4 playoffs, notable players such as Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, and Tyrese Halliburton all missed time in the 2024 playoffs, affecting the outcome of the season. The 2023 playoffs had Giannis, Tyler Hero, Kawhi, Paul George, and Chris Paul all getting hurt. The 22 playoffs saw Zion Williamson, Ja Morant, and Chris Middleton miss time. In the 2021 playoffs, it was Jamal Murray, Jaylen Brown, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Anthony Davis, in which all had an impact on who won the title that year. So why are today's players having more injuries? Although many would say that the game has appeared to become less physical from the NBA of the past, the physical demand for a player has become higher than ever before. Thanks to a certain point guard on the Warriors, the style of play has fundamentally changed. Over the past decade, the amount of three-pointers attempted per game by teams around the league have skyrocketed. This shift of play style has led to more high-speed, long-distance defensive closeouts, and more violent changes of direction, putting immense strain on joints. The increased volume of long-range shooting has also influenced the game to be played at a faster pace. 2 decades ago, in the 2005 season, the league average for possessions for a team per game was approximately 90.9. In the recent 2025 season, that number has climbed up to 102.5. The fastest team averaged about 107. This means that each game played today could see about 25 to 30 more possessions than games 20 years ago. That equates to roughly an additional 0.75 miles of distance covered per game. Players today cover about 2.5 miles per game, with the most active ones covering up to 3. This distance is covered in a series of over 1,000 movement changes, including about 100 explosive sprints or bursts per game. It's the constant starting, stopping, and re-accelerating that causes wear and tear. And this load on the body becomes even worse when you consider the fact that many players have accumulated significantly more reps from an early age. The concept of an off-season for rest has diminished due to intense workouts and scrimmages, pro-am summer leagues, and international play. Also, the skill of NBA players today is undeniably at a much higher level, with many bigs possessing a skill set one would only see in a guard before. Players in the modern era have a much deeper bag. However, because defenses have also improved, they are constantly forced to perform moves that inflict significant punishment on their bodies. Basketball has evolved to a point where the human body cannot adapt in time, lowering the risk of injury for players. The most effective way is through lightening their load. It's true that addressing individual factors like flawed movement mechanics also play a role. Derrick Rose, for example, The way he landed was a key contributor to the knee injuries that ruined his career, but his case is pretty rare, as the entire NBA as a whole is getting more injured, and it seems the problem is bigger than any single player's individual conditioning or bad luck. Load management through resting players in regular season games has become a huge problem for the league. It's the amount of games they play, 82. Stephon Castle stated that the Spurs only practiced 8 times throughout the recent season. They do not have many windows for it due to having many games every other day and needing time to rest and recover. We saw the new look Lakers get beat up after playing 5 games in 7 nights.
The NBA is on notice. Shorten the playoffs.
So the only other point I wanted to make real quick, and that's just the type of this goes back to the injury component, the type of basketball that is played in the modern NBA. 90s basketball, that's the era I grew up. Mark Jackson brings the ball up, throws it to the wing to Reggie Miller, throws it in the post to Rick Smits, and everybody stands around. How many possessions like that do you see today? You don't see those possessions.
Many have already expressed that they would like the amount of games to be lowered to about 60 or even 40 games. In doing that, we will more than likely witness a season where more players can enter the playoffs healthy. Also, with less games being played, each regular season game will truly hold more value. Currently, the level of play in the regular season has too much of a contrast with what we see in the playoffs, as the physicality and intensity seems to go up tenfold once the postseason comes around. In the NFL, each game attracts lots of attention due to each game mattering more, as each team only plays 17 games in the regular season. The NBA added the in-season tournament as their own way of making regular season games matter more, while still maintaining 82 games, though there is limits to what that brought on. Shortening the season comes with obvious downsides. The most significant is the financial hurdle. Fewer games means less revenue from broadcasting rights, ticket sales, and arena concessions, which would directly impact the basketball-related income and consequently lower the salary cap and player salaries. Beyond the economics, it means less basketball for fans to watch, fewer opportunities for young players to gain valuable in-game experience, and a potential asterisk next to all-time records, making it harder for future players to climb the historical leaderboards. Some suggest simply eliminating back-to-back games as a solution, but this presents its own logistical nightmare. To fit the same number of games into the schedule without back-to-backs, the calendar length of the season would have to be longer, potentially pushing the NBA Finals deep into the summer and creating conflicts with player rest and other sporting events. There's a hard balance to find between revenue, league order, and competition. But as basketball fans, we all just want to see the best teams compete for a title at full strength and not hobbling out of the race.